Hello everybody, how are you doing today? Coming at you with all my might, it is Smite. I am back. Well, I've always been here, but you know, it's getting cold out. It's Sunday. I didn't get a really chance to ride this week, but I'm out there now. Gonna go do some woods riding a little bit because it's rainy. Because of, well, I don't know why it's rainy, but well, anyhow, I think it was long time for story to be told. The story of how I got my four-wheeler. Now it's quite like the story. In fact, wholly similar to the story of my dirt bike. Now that's a spoiler. But so I've been wanting a sport quad. This is my first sport quad. I've never rode a sport quad before I rode this one. But I was looking at them, and I always wanted a dirt bike. Well, before I got this before my dirt bike, but I always wanted a dirt bike. Didn't know how to ride clutch. So I wanted to get a four-wheeler. Dad thought it was a good idea. I got a four-wheeler first, and I love riding four-wheelers, so I went to get a four-wheeler. So I kept checking Craigslist and stuff like that. I found a 03 KFX, and it had didn't have a picture up on Craigslist, but I messaged the guy with pictures. Looked at the pictures, it looked decent and stuff, so I got all excited. He wanted 17 for it. I was hoping to get it for like 15, but we went down and we went to look at it. And when we got there, I looked at that thing, and man, the pictures were nothing like it was. He said it was a small crack in the seat. He didn't really send a picture of it, but he said it was sun cracked and faded a little bit, but this thing was beat to death. Front tires were completely bald. He didn't say that to me. Front tires were completely bald. The plastic was not green. It was like a puke whitish greenish. It looked disgusting. And he took the headlight out, and he put a he took the headlight. It looks exactly like my four-wheeler, it's green. He took the headlight out and put black mesh in there and spray painted it. So there was no headlights in the front. And then he took all the warning stickers off, like where they're riveted on, like how mine are riveted on right here. He took them off and put these weird, like, sayings. Yeah, it's fast. Yeah, it's cool. And no, you can't drive it. And stupid stuff like that. And the thing was maybe worth 1,000 if. But so I didn't end up getting that. I got disappointed. Went back, saw another KFX, same year, but it was in a different town. So I got excited. Well, they just listed it somewhere else. Because I called and the lady described the same one. I'm like, oh, I already saw that. Like, I don't want to look at that. It's false advertising. But so I was kind of getting discouraged at that point. And my dad was surfing around on Craigslist and he found this. The guy was in about an hour and a half away from where we were. And it was like 2 or 3 weeks after the KFX. But an hour away, hour and a half away. And so we talked to the guy. The ad was on there for a month too, also. And I'm like, well, the guy said he had it still, that people were coming to look at it, but they never had cash. So So he didn't get rid of it, obviously, because no one had cash. They just wanted to ride it. And we're going along. So we get there. Took the guy a little bit to start. You could clearly tell he hadn't started it, which I was glad for, because you could really see what the thing's like with a cold start like that. So he sat there and it's trying to start. Took it a while, and then it started running, and it was a huge vibrating sound. But this thing has full skid plates, so it was just the skid plates that was rattling, because you stick your hand and hold up on the skid plate. I'm getting covered in mud, and it wouldn't rattle anymore. So we're talking. I looked at Dad, and I'm like, he wanted 22 for it. And Dad's like, well, you want to offer him it? I think it's a good deal. And I'm like, all right, well. Dad reached in his pocket, pulled my money out. I had him carry my money. He's put $1,700 on the seat. Put $1,700 on the seat, and said, "Will you take 17 for it?" And the guy was like looking at the tires, and he was bent down. He looked up, saw the money. He's like, "Yeah, I'll take it." So I got it for 17. We loaded up the truck, and we were heading to Reading, which was probably about another hour and a half away from there. So we're going to Reading. I just bought a four-wheeler. I rode it there for a little bit. I knew the basics of clutch, that I could still do it. So we're going to Reading. We're in the middle of Reading, and I'm like, "Dad, I want to start that thing." And I just the pipe is just so much for me. I just love the stupid thing, and because it's so loud. So I get on the back of the truck. I'm starting, and I'm sitting there revving it, just having an awesome time. And in the middle of Reading, I'll have you know, just sitting there revving my four-wheeler. That was a lot of fun. And then I went to start it again, and it wouldn't start. So we're spraying starter fluid in there. We're trying to get the thing to roar to life. It wouldn't start. We got it, and then we got it to fire, and then it ran fine for a little bit. Then I just turned it off, and we went inside. But we were there the rest of the day, and by the time we got left and by the time we got home, it was 12 o'clock at night. But I just bought a four-wheeler. I'm not gonna not ride it. So I'm like, "Dad, I want to ride it." So he got his four-wheeler out, and we're just putting around, because I obviously couldn't drive it very fast. I didn't even know how to clutch. I stalled it a few times. Then we're riding it through the woods, and I just stalled it, and it died, and it wouldn't start. I was sitting there, it's just turning over and over and over and over and over, wouldn't start. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. We didn't have any clue what to do. And it was like 12:30, 1 o'clock at night. So Dad's like, well, we'll push it in the garage. I'll pull my car out. We'll push it in the garage, and then we'll work on it tomorrow. So that's what we did. Just spent $1,704 on a four-wheeler. Got it, and then it wasn't running. I was scared. I was so scared. So the next morning, it was a Sunday after that, so we went to church. We came back, and we didn't know if it was the engine, if it blew or whatnot. But Dad pulls in the clutch. He sits there for a little bit, presses a starter, and then it sputters. It pops, and then so you knew it turned over. So you're like, okay, it's not the engine. Well, that was a relief. So, well, Dad's like, well, it has to be a carburetor issue. If it's not working, it has to be a carburetor issue. So we're like, all right, well, let's do that. We took the carburetor out, and we took it all off the four-wheeler, and the on and off switch for the gas doesn't work. None of my thing, it doesn't work on my bike either. So we stuff a screwdriver up the hose so it's not dumping my gas tank all out. And we take apart the carb, and we were like, that's took it, and he shook the carb and it's rattling. I'm like, well, that ain't right. So he opens the carb up, and the main jet needle was just floating around in there. It wasn't even a fast. So it was giving it all the gas and just flooding it right out. So we're like, oh, well, that's the problem. And the thing was fast before then. And we put that in there, put the jet in there, and I got on it, and I went down the road, and it would go whoop and start sputtering. I'm like, something's even worse now. I bring it back, and then Dad's like, well, no, duh, you're hitting the rev limiter. I'm like, the rev limiter? And then it just clicked. I'm like, oh, I'm in the rev limiter. It's accelerating so fast now. So we took it, we dropped it a little bit, so the spark plug, so it's not frying it, and it's run great ever since. It's amazing. But the thing is, it's awesome because just so much to the relativeness. But it's just funny because the first four that I looked at was crap. Second one I got. First bike I looked at was crap, and the second one I got. So I just thought maybe there's a pattern here. Maybe when I get my car, I'll have to do the same thing. Who knows? But I just thought that was a pretty cool pattern. Not pretty cool, but still it's pretty cool that, yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying that it's cool that everything worked out. But yep. So that's the story of how I acquired such a fine piece of machinery. But yeah. So that's how I acquired this four-wheeler. It's fun to drive, and I love it. I'm so glad I bought it. I still love my bike. I mean, I bought this first, so it's kind of my first thing, you know. Horses, everybody! Horses in the cornfield, horses in the cornfield. It's already mowed though. Look at all them horses, guys. Look at that one. It's a horse. They're not fazed by my pipe. Hi, horsey! Alright. So, thanks for watching. And leave a comment. Like this video if you like it. And subscribe. Thank you. Smite out. Peace, guys.